Welcome to PRTV, folks. Hope you're having a wonderful day. This video here is about the meat packing industry and the meat industry in general. Hope you enjoy it.
But what is the real cost of cheap corporate meat? And what could it mean for the food we depend on?
Problem is right now, we have set this up for a major collapse.
You're standing in front of our Angus Wagyu cross calves. We have a couple thousand head in this feedlot. Well, for an independent rancher, this is a good size operation.
A lot of greed, a lot of crookery. Guess they're going to introduce bush meat.
But in comparison to the industry, it's extremely small. The biggest feeders now are 100,000 head plus operations.
Mike Calicrate is an independent rancher. In over 30 years of ranching, he's seen just how much the industry has changed and gotten worse for small producers like him.
Out of this very facility, I used to sell to 20 meat packers at any given time, and that got down to 0. Why is it that U.S. ranchers are going out of business?
Thievery, greed, control.
It's for lack of market access.
Mike now operates Ranch Foods Direct, a vertically integrated meat business focused on local, ethical, and sustainable meat production.
As far as the number of folks in the U.S. that do what we do at Ranch Foods Direct, which are basically pasture to plate, there's hardly any.
Pasture to plate. That means Ranch Foods Direct raises the cattle, slaughters them, then processes and packages for direct sale.
I'll tell you, there's going to be a reckoning one day. It's just amazing. We got the world's first trillionaire, and people can't even put food on the table. Ain't that wonderful?
But that is not typical for most producers.
The biggest challenge in the production of livestock, if you're going to be selling meat, is that slaughter piece.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I will repay. He sure will.
That slaughter piece, the processing and packaging that happens before meat reaches customers, is where just a few big meat packers are able to set pricing and squeeze the ranchers selling them cattle. Because of consolidation in the industry, ranchers have basically no other option but to accept, a problem Mike has been speaking out on for 30 years.
Because we only have 3 packers in the business today basically setting the price, we've decoupled supply and demand. So you don't have a high level of competition out there that will pay you a premium for your cattle.
Back then, the Brazilian meat processing giant JBS wasn't even in the U.S. market. But now,
JBS is our biggest meat company in the world, and they're essentially a predator in the industry.
JBS trading means that it's going to have access to U.S. investors and pension funds and all of these funds that are pouring more money in, and they will be able to finance better loans.
Wow.
They will be able to have more capital to do whatever they want with.
that means more money to fuel their acquisition spree, further consolidating the market, giving more power to the packing companies and less to the farmers and ranchers whose livestock will eventually end up there.
For American food producers, it means that JBS is not going away anytime soon.
I think it is important to look at the sheep industry as the canary in the coal mine, and I can tell you what will happen to the beef industry if we don't take action now.
A lot of famine, that's what's going to happen. Incoming famine, just like the Bible warned. It's going to happen.
Carson Jorgensen is a sixth-generation lamb rancher in Utah.
This was it. I guess there's not as many people now as there used to be with that connection and those roots, and it just makes for a different dynamic.
Oh man, that's such a crying shame. Wow. That's awful.
In 2001, Carson's family joined roughly 150 sheep ranching families that banded together to leverage their own power against the big meat packers.
Mountain States Rosin Co-op was a family-owned operation just prior to COVID. MSR was having some difficulties.
In 2020, as restaurants shut down and production lines stalled across the country, Mountain States Rosin filed for bankruptcy.
That being said, they had a buyer to come in and buy the plant. That was the plan. There was a Canadian company that was going to come in and buy it and process American lamb and keep it here in the United States. And that was the plan. Well, JBS owns the plant across the street. And JBS's contract with
Yeah.
MSR was for the wastewater management and for the steam that it takes to run the plant.
And guess what happened, folks? The big fish eats the little fish.
JBS wouldn't transfer over the wastewater contract and the steam contract to the new buyers because ultimately they wanted that plant, and they knew if they couldn't sell the plant, it would go defunct and they would end up with it. And that's exactly what happened.
After JBS converted the plant into a beef facility, sheep ranchers across the West were left with very few options for regional processing.
That was really critical piece of infrastructure for us producers here in the western United States.
Many opted to go to Double J in Texas, a family-owned processing plant more than 1,000 miles away for producers in Utah, Wyoming, and
Ain't
Idaho.
that something?
But Double J is now
1,000
also at
miles
risk
away.
of closing, once again leaving ranchers with alarmingly few options for selling or processing their meat and scrambling for solutions.
Yep, absolutely. Leave them scrambling, forget about them. They're not worth much, huh? God bless them. And thank you, folks, for joining us today on PRTV. Have a wonderful day.